pull this radiator with the fans out of the engine bay. When replacing your radiator, there are some things you got to keep in mind. We are gonna be talking about that on this video, where we will be replacing a radiator on a Dodge Grand Caravan 3.3 liters V6. I will try to take out only what it needs to be removed. That way the job will be as simple as possible. Some people like to take apart a bunch of parts. That just complicates things. We're not going to be doing that. We will keep it as simple as possible. Let's begin. And this one right here is your radiator cap. As you can see, the radiator is beneath all this plastic and some piece of metal that we're gonna be taking apart. Now we need to take this plastic cover out, and in order to do that we have to remove some clips and some screws that hold that piece down to the car. After removing all the screws, now the plastic is out. Now we have to remove this piece of metal. If you know the name of it, please leave it in the comments, because I don't really know the name. And as you can see, it is held by 4 bolts, 2 on each side. 13mm socket that we're gonna be using to remove this metal. So let's go ahead and take care of that right now. After we remove the bolts of this metal and we are able to move it, just put it aside. Keep in mind that still connected to that wire line that pops open the hood, and we don't want to take that apart because it's not really necessary. Another thing that we should do is disconnect the batteries, because we are working around there are some sensors for the airbags around here, and just to be safe we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the battery. And make sure this piece of metal do not touch your battery terminals. Your radiator has a drain plug, and it is located on the driver's side right under this hose at the bottom. We're gonna go ahead and locate that and open that plug to drain the radiator. But first, make sure that you take care of the environment and put this under to collect that liquid. Let's go ahead and locate the radiator plug. We got this, remember, driver's side. We go under here, and this right here, what I'm touching, is your plug. So you're gonna go ahead and turn that, so that way we drain all the fluid from the radiator, and we can take it out this old radiator. Let's go ahead and open that. To properly drain the radiator, make sure you open the radiator cap on top, so that way it will allow the air to get in and flush all that liquid a lot faster. Okay, so right now, while the radiator is draining, we're gonna go ahead and remove this hose first, this one right here. Then we're gonna be removing this other hose. Actually, we're gonna take that one now. This is easy, as easy as just pulling. This is the one that goes to the reservoir. Let's just put it aside. Okay, I'm gonna be removing this one now. We have another hose down there. Let me see if I can show you. That one that we need to remove. After we remove that hose, then we have to disconnect fans, the wires from the fans, the cables, the plugs. So basically you see this red tab. What we have to do is pull on it, and then we press at the back right here and pull this plug. Space is really tight, but it's doable. As you can see, this one is out, and we have to do the same for the other fan. See, this is the plug, and it has that red tab right here. You can kind of pull on it, then press here and pull. We can use any flat head screwdriver. come back to the sensor, push on that red tab just like that until it moves a little bit. That will release the mechanism inside of it. Then you press at the back of the sensor where you have this tab and pull. Be careful, you don't want to damage the cables. There we go, sensor is out. Okay, so as I was mentioning, I'm gonna finish removing that hose that is at the bottom, and after that I think we should be able to pull this radiator. And as you can see, that's your airbag sensor that I was talking about. You gotta be careful. That was why we disconnect the negative cable from the battery, because we don't want to accidentally trigger that sensor. Okay, right now we need to separate the condenser from the radiator. Looks like it has in here that we have to disconnect, and it should slide. Let's see how I can do that. What we have to do is press on these two things and it will shoot. You see how it came out, came loose? So that's what we have to do on the other side as well. Just like that. Now it's loose. Now at the bottom you still have another channel going on. We have to kind of lift it, just take it out of that, because that's connected to the radiator. So we have to kind of lift it, take it out, and then the radiator should be free. But be careful, because we still have all these lines connected. You don't want to damage anything, okay? So just be careful. Look, we have all these lines that are still connected, and we don't want to damage anything, okay? So basically what we have to do is take it out of that on both sides. Let me show you the other side. That one right there, and we should be good to go. And again, we have some other lines in here for the AC, so just be careful. We don't want to damage anything. As you can see, I got this part out of those tabs at the bottom. As you can see, it's out. So right now the radiator is free. The only thing that is holding the radiator is that bottom hose. I'm gonna go under. As you can see, we have the hose right there with the ring that we need to remove. That's what I'm gonna be removing right now. All right, it's loose, so let's go ahead right now and pull that hose. I don't know where it's gonna be better, if doing it from top or from the bottom. I don't want to get water all over myself, so I'm gonna try from the top and do it from the bottom. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so now that we got that hose loose, I was able to do it from the top, by the way. The hose is right there. We're gonna take it and push it aside so that way it doesn't interfere with whatever we're gonna be doing in here. Put it aside. Right now we have the radiator fans disconnected, both, one on this side, one at the other. I just tuck the cable back there so that way it's not on the way. We got the condenser disconnected. Remember that tab that was on top and that channel that was at the bottom on each side. We had to remove that. This was just simply pressing these two and pulling the condenser. At the bottom, same thing, take it out of the channel, and now we should be able to just pull this radiator with the fans out of the engine bay. Let's go ahead and do that. If you are loving these easy car maintenance tips and wants to save more money by doing it yourself, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Okay, so now it's time to remove the radiator fans from the old one to install in the new one. It has two bolts, one on each side, this one right here and this one right here. Those bolts are a, let's see, 10 millimeter. So basically after we take those bolts out, we just have to slide, because as you can see it has a tab right here that it will slide this way, and then you will be able to lift the radiator fans. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's remove them. Easy peasy. One is out, the other one is out. So now, as I was saying, we have to move this way, the fans, and then lift them. And as you can see, Radiator fans are out. Right here we got the new radiator. We're gonna go ahead and install the radiator fans on it. Make sure you have a matched radiator. Just make sure it's the same as the one that you just took out, and be careful with it. You don't want to damage it, so use the same foams to place them at the bottom. Sometimes, depending on the manufacturer of the new radiator, you might have to remove this because otherwise it's not gonna properly fit. So I already removed the other one. Let's go ahead and continue with the installation. Your new radiator might have come with this adapter to place the bolts in here. So let's go ahead and use those. Good. Same thing for the other side. Good. And just like that, you got your new radiator with the radiator fans on. Everything is assembled. Let's go ahead and put it back to the car. Once your radiator is properly seated in place, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna reattach this condenser to the radiator. And as you remember, we have that channel at the bottom. We're gonna go ahead and lift it and place it in that channel. Let's go ahead and do that right now. As you can see, it is right there. It's in place at the bottom, and then at the top it has that other connection. You just have to press in and it will connect. Remember that one? Just press in and it will connect. Let me do the one at the bottom first. To this other side. Boom, at the bottom. Now we're going for the one on the top, and we just see if I can. We just press in. Here the clip is connected. Do the same thing at the other end. Right here. Just go like this. Make sure it's properly aligned, and you press, and boom, good, ready to go. So now we have condensing unit connected to the radiator. So now that we have that connected, we can go ahead and let me reconnect the cables. Remember the cable for the fan. Just go ahead and plug that in. It's one more connection. Once you press that in, make sure you press on the tab just to make it child-proof. And do the same thing for the other one. Go ahead and slide that in all the way in. Now press on the red tab. Boom, good to go. Now that we have that connected, I'm gonna go ahead and reconnect the hose at the bottom and then this hose at the top. Let me do that. Let's go back to the hose at the bottom. Okay, I just have to do the clamp right now. That's what I'm gonna be doing. But now that I got the one on the bottom done, I'm gonna go ahead and do the one on the top. Basically, we just connect this thing right here, and we start screwing this. It doesn't have to be super tight. It just has to be secure enough so the pressure won't pull on it, won't push on it. Good. Let's go ahead and reconnect this other one, the one that comes from the reservoir. Just like that. If you want, you can clamp it, put a zip type on it. Not needed, but if you want, just for extra safety, go ahead and do it. We have everything connected. Basically, we just have to place this bracket back on, and we're almost done. Let's do that right now. See these pins, they should come inside this hole. If you still have your bushings because your radiator was different and didn't have these pins, go ahead and place this inside the bushings. If you are loving these easy car maintenance tips and wants to save more money by doing it yourself, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Installing the plastic. Put all the screws back. Okay, at this point we got the installation done. Just make sure everything is in place, the fans are connected, the hoses are all connected. You have 3 hoses, one on the top, one on the bottom, and the one for the reservoir. This hose I'm gonna go ahead and kind of clamp it to this hose so that way it's not hanging in the way like this. And time to start putting the new antifreeze on. Let's go ahead and do that right now. And just like that, you got your radiator replaced. Thanks for watching.